it's actually going to linger for some time. And you see, sometimes, and when the loved ones are lost, we usually, when the people may have gone through some sickness, chronic illness, or have been down for a while, people don't really get to feel so much pain because at least there seems to be some kind of relief for the person who has passed, relief from whatever pain they might have been facing. But now this is just like an abrupt end to people's lives, and that is how much of a worry or heart-wrenching it is to the Jubilee House and then Ghana as a whole. Annie?
I see. So it means that all the programs that were scheduled obviously have been cancelled.
Annie, please take that again.
I was asking that it means all programs that were scheduled are going to be impossible to attend.
Oh, yes. So no program is going to take effect. Every program here at the Jubilee House has been cancelled. We are not having any programming. And you see, usually as Africans or as Ghanaians, when such things happen, our humanity side shows first, sympathy and then empathy. That is the side of us as Ghanaians and then as Africans that shows first. So I mean, it is proper of commiserating with families. It is proper to hold or halt every event and then I mean, take a break, rethink things over, and then look at the way forward ahead of what has happened. So there is actually a shutdown here at the presidency, and it's when you see how people or officials are lined up in the streets here at the car park, you would just be
all right. So we would like to see.
Unless of course
Shadrach, we would like to have the videos of that.
People lined up in such a manner, but rather unfortunately, the lining up wasn't for the good. It was actually for the worst.
So, Shadrach, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Annie.
Yeah, if you can, send us all those rushes you're collecting in the presidency. Let's have a view. We want to see it on screen so that we can give the viewers a picture of exactly what's going on.
Do I say unfortunately? But per protocols, where I am standing now, the cameras are not supposed to come around, or the lenses are supposed to be inside, but we'll still try and then get some visuals or views here for our viewers.
Yes, we'll be very grateful. Well, it's a very unusual day, so I'm sure that protocols will even understand. So see, we just want to see exactly what the picture, the view is like, with our own eyes. But thank you for the comprehensive details that you're giving us. Do we still have officials coming in and out of the presidency?
Yes, so currently we have all the military high command leaving. I'm seeing a convoy. I should believe it's the vice president moving out. It's coming from the vice president's end. And then I just spotted the rank and file of the National Democratic Congress also leaving. I just saw Fusu Ampofo follow suit, Kion. I've seen NADMO officials. So all the cast are just moving out of the Jubilee House. So yes, all the officials that came in, those that were here have all left. Those that came in have also joined those that left early on. Everyone has moved out, and I am very sure most of them will also head to the site the accident happened, and people will also have to go to the homes of these people. Annie.
Shadrach, thank you so much for this comprehensive details. So we will just let you know once again that the Minister for Defense and the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, together with some other officials of the government, have passed, and they have, been announced by the Chief of Staff. And I'm sure we'll go back to the presidency, as Shadrach is also monitoring activities that's happening in the High Office, and then we'll know exactly what's going to happen in the next minutes. The Chief of Staff Julius Deborah has also directed all flags to fly half mast. Let's engage the Deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission, Elikem Kotoko, who is now acting for that office. Is he okay? We're told that we lost him. All right. So Desmond, that's some comprehensive details also, from Shadrach.
Yes, and that just depicts the mood at the Jubilee House this afternoon. I've seen some of the videos on socials where Honorable Muntaka was crying his eyes out, same as he mentioned, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa. It's a really, really sad day. I wouldn't be jealous to be in that room right now. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I wouldn't be. So there you see on the screen, Dennis Miracle Zawaje writing with an emoji.
And he's a former
campaign
director for Dr. Baumia.
Yeah, 2024. So Dennis writing that on X. Malik Basintali says, God of mercy, writing that on X.
Also CEO of NYA.
Of the NYA. And I was just going through what exactly this function that they were going to was about. And you see Rashid computer with the emojis, the crying emojis there.
He is the
Deputy IT
for elections for the NDC.
For the NDC. And he writing that.
Okay. We'll engage the Deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission, Elikem Kotoko. We've tried him many times. I think we have gotten him. Most of the officials are unable to voice out. Obviously, this is a hard time. This is indeed a hard time. Elikem, you're welcome. Good afternoon. Sorry, I can't even say good afternoon, but thank you for agreeing to have a word with us. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Annie.
My condolences. Indeed, my condolences
to
you.
So much.
I am so sorry about what has happened. So,
yeah.
I was searching the geographical topography of this area, Adanse Akufom, and I just wanted to understand, maybe you within the forestry area, you can give us a bit of some knowledge about this place. Is there something we should know? How thick is the forest? If I'm being careful with the choice of my words, because we don't know the results of investigation yet. It could be a matter of time. It could be a matter of terrain. It could be status of the flight of the aircraft itself. It could be weather condition. But this time, I'm looking at the terrain of the area. What else? What can you tell us about this Ashanti, domain where the plane actually crashed?
Yeah, thank you so much. May I first say that condolences to the families. And also, more importantly, before any further conversation, advise many who have taken to social media to be sharing those gory images of these incident to desist from that and accord the families some respect by avoiding the sharing of that. There's no gain from it, and the information people require is not to witness dead bodies or burnt ashes and all that. With reference to this place, I'm sure that currently it may be a bit too early to have other conversations around that, but it is my understanding that the weather may also be a part or any other features, but as to the exact maybe topography, as in if they are it's a very forested area or not, I'm unable to tell immediately. But yes, it is so close to a community, we are told.
I see. Doc, so I'll actually then let that slide so that I'm sure later you can help us understand when your emotions are a bit stabilized. But for now, are you able to speak maybe on your experience with these persons that were caught in this crash?
Yes, I mean, as we all know, uh, Dr. Mani, a very fine brain, a major catalyst in what has put the NDC party in power today, the role he played as director of elections. And not only that, his wealth of knowledge, his depth of understanding of issues, and his humility is something nobody can take away from him. This is not what anybody expects. And myself in particular, I've had many instances of engagement with him, even prior to my appointment, after my appointment. And I know very well that we have a pending meeting as well. But you can only say the Lord knows best, and nobody wakes up expecting to hear such sad news. Same applies to Dr. Murtala Mohammed, who's been always a very good example I have learned from. He and I share some similarities in terms of belief. We believe that we should be addressed as comrades and not by big titles. Another fine brain of the NDC, undoubtedly, and of the state as well. Dr. Sapon, the vice chairman of the party, very calm and knowledgeable, and all the others as well. It is indeed a sad situation. Sincerely, I can only imagine what the families are going through now and what His Excellency the President also is going through, as well as other comrades within the fraternity. These are individuals whose bond of friendship cut across political divides, cut across tribes, cut across regions, cut across religion and everything. And you agree with me. These are people you meet and you can easily strike an acquaintance and begin a conversation with. And we can only say that the Lord knows best. As painful as it is, we would only still say it is well.
Elikem, thank you so much for your time. We'll leave it here so that you give yourself some time to breathe. So that's Elikem Kotoko, who is the Deputy CEO for the Forestry Commission. Let's go on to the screen. Desi, if you can just help us take us through the profiles as the news team is compiling, so we know the people we're talking about. We'll start off with Dr. Omaniboma. Desi.
The loss of one of its most accomplished public servants, and he tragically died in the crash as we're talking about right now. He was a respected medical doctor, policy analyst, and political strategist, and had a distinguished career marked by a seamless blend of healthcare expertise and national governance. And he was serving as defense minister at the time of his passing. He schooled at John Senior High School in the Eastern Region and the University of Ghana Medical School, where he later actually earned his master's degree in health policy planning and financing from prestigious institutions in the UK. His early leadership roles as NUC's president and FGMSA secretary foreshadowed a lifelong commitment to civic service. And in public office, he held several high-profile roles. So he was Deputy Minister for Environment, Science and Technology from 2009 to 2012, where he led environmental investigations and climate policy initiatives. He was also Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports from 2012 to 2013, focusing on youth empowerment and sports development. And from 2013 to 2017, he was Minister for Communications, where he spearheaded Ghana's digital evolution, championed child online protection, and expanded cybersecurity roles. Again, as presidential spokesperson, he became a key voice in the Mahama administration, valued for his clarity and strategic articulation. And in 2025, he was appointed Minister for defense tasked with safeguarding national security, and that was until his untimely death today. And it's just sad how one time, in just a split second, can say he was. And beyond governance, Dr. Boama was instrumental in shaping the National Democratic Congress's digital strategy, serving as Director of Elections and IT, and he championed the expansion of 4G LTE networks for the Ghana Security Forces, linking innovation to national resilience. And I'm sure that for the digital strategy for us in his role as Director for Elections and IT, we also that prior to the 2024 general elections, where he was very, very critical of the Electoral Commission and some of the works that had to do with the IT of the EC. And Dr. Boama leaves behind a legacy defined by intellect, humility, and unwavering dedication to Ghana's progress. And of course, tributes pouring in from across the political spectrum. And may you so rest in peace, Dr. Edward Boama, Minister for Defense. So some of the messages, Zita Benson says, this is very painful. Heads sober, the crash site must be preserved for investigation just in case someone fiddled with the helicopter. And I'd seen this on socials, and for me, of course, investigations must go on, but I don't think this is the time to get into any partisan conversations in this situation. So I beg to disagree with Zita on this particular post. No need for that now. Of course, the investigations will go on and we'll find out what happened. But these accusations and these statements now are very much not needed. Very, very much not needed. So A+ sharing a candle light on his Facebook, and of course writing all the names of those who passed on, and adding that may their souls rest in perfect peace. This is just too much actually, and you just have people passing on just like that, and it's a very, very sad thing, very, very, very sad situation as we have.
I actually think that
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking maybe it's about time that the authorities will prevent people from going closer to the scene.
Yeah, I've seen that the Ghana National Fire Service were there.
They
on
have
the
to
scene.
cordon the area from the public because it's possible we can tamper with evidence. That it's very important that the crash scene be cordoned off so that people will not just go and tamper with evidence.
Just talking about these events that the team were going for, and that is the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program, and that was approved by Cabinet, and that's by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and that was the program that they were going for. So this program or this initiative was to help with the President's vision for sustainable job creation, and that was going to replace the Community Mining Scheme and the National Alternative Program and Livelihood, or National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program, and that was what was going to happen. We're seeing that the Ashanti Regional Minister was there, gave a speech at that particular program, and just when this team were on their way to this program, this incident happened, and this is where...
I mean, what a way to sacrifice yourself for the land with regards to, it's the same galamsey issues we've been talking about. The same galamsey issue,
and I'd seen a post that this is where galamsey has ended us.
Yeah, it's the same galamsey issues. Galamsey will cost this country so much. And it's just, you know, when you consider the issue of galamsey, what it leads you to is the fact that people are just being sheer greedy. That's all. It's not a matter of people just wanting to eat from hand to mouth. There are people who have made so much money from the minerals, but because they've seen that it's a gold mine, they really want to mine, literally, you see. And they are doing that in destroying our land. So you're destroying our lands, you're taking lives. And this time it's not just people, having chemicals or eating chemicals, but we're now adding plane crash and others to it, just because they're going on a journey to fight galamsey.
Really sad. Let me just see if I could read some of the messages we have, and I'll post on X, Metro TV Ghana, and also on Facebook, Metro TV Ghana. You can definitely join us there by writing, however you're feeling right now. There. So let me just get onto our platform right away and share with you some of the comments that are coming in with regards to this particular situation. It's a Black Wednesday for this country, and it's a really, really sad one. Let me read some of the messages. This one says that may their souls rest in peace on X, and Mohammed Hamid says that this is very, very sad. Yeah, and yep, to continue, this one says that, okay, talking about the sadness of this particular news, and definitely we'll be going back to our correspondent at the Jubilee House, Shadrach Odame, to give us more of what is happening or the scene in there. We know that, or we understand that there may be a delegation going to the homes of these ministers, Dr. Manebuama and also Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. So there you see him on your screen, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. A very, very affable man. I've seen him a lot of times actually on a Saturday political program in the mornings, Inside Pages. And let's just get to read about him. So he holds 2 master's degrees, development planning from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and also International Relations and Diplomacy, University of Ghana. And his academic grounding has shaped his policy outlook, merging local development sensibilities with global diplomatic awareness. I remember his argument in Parliament about him being academic, and what needs to be done for persons in academia. I remember that vividly as he was making his points in Parliament a few months ago. That's Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. And in politics, Dr. Mohammed has held or had held multiple high-impact roles across Ghana's political spectrum. He was the Deputy National Coordinator for the National Youth Employment Program in 2009, and also Member of Parliament for Nantong constituency from 2013 to 2017. And he was Deputy Minister for Information and Media Relations from 2013 to 2014, Deputy Minister Trade and Industry from 2014 to 2017, and he was elected MP for Tamale Central in 2020 and retained his seat in 2024. And I guess we would be going to Tamale to speak to our correspondent to find out the mood in Tamale as they have received this news. And his years of parliamentary and ministerial experience have cemented his reputation as a policy-driven, people-focused public servant. Well, as Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, also innovation, he prioritized sustainability and technological innovation, a robust green energy transition agenda. I remember when he met the media, a number of things about green energy, collaborative policy making with agencies like the EPA and the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. And he was known for his outspoken commitment to inclusive development and youth empowerment and blended grassroots advocacy with strategic national planning. So there is Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, a very, very nice man. Very, very nice man. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll definitely get to our correspondent Hassan Dibaba in the northern region to tell us the mood in the area. But of course, we will be getting back to our correspondent also from the Ashanti region, Abdul Basit Suleiman, to give us some more updates. After this news from the Chief of Staff, what else he could report for us. And of course, the conversation goes on social media, and it's a Black Wednesday, definitely Black Wednesday, and a very sad day for the country. And to the families of all the affected, the crew. I've seen some pictures of the very young officer, that is Bafemi Anala, and a young officer who definitely was going to rise through the ranks. This situation happens to him. It will be very difficult for the families receiving this particular news. And, as we say, we can't do anything about it. We just have to commiserate with the family. And Shamima Muslim says, to him we belong, to him we return. And that's what Shamima has written on Facebook. To him we return, or to him we belong, to him we return.
To announce the demise of the following persons in the tragic crash: Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah, Minister for Defense; Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, MP, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology; Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Lemonad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and former Minister for Food and Agriculture; Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress; and Mr. Samuel Abuaji, a former parliamentary candidate; Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manin Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. And government extends our condolences and sympathies to the families of our comrades and the servicemen who died in service to the country. All flags are to fly at half-mast until further notice. Thank you. Regrets to announce the demise of the following persons in the tragic crash: Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah, Minister for Defense; Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, MP, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology; Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Lemonad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and former Minister for Food and Agriculture; Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress; and Mr. Samuel Abuaji, a former parliamentary candidate; Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manin Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. And government extends our condolences and sympathies to the families of our comrades and the servicemen who died in service to the country. All flags are to fly at half-mast until further notice. Thank you. Regrets to announce the demise of the following persons in the tragic crash: Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah, Minister for Defense.
The Ghana Armed Forces has played significant supporting roles in the fight against illegal mining, galamsey. We are not out of the woods yet as a nation, but there is hope because there is a political will at the very top. We have reviewed the fight against illegal mining and have worked with stakeholders to reform the fight. The National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, is a product of that review exercise. The recovery of several forest reserves early this year, which our forest guards could not venture, was led by the Ghana Armed Forces. Additionally, the Navy supported land forces in Operation Hall 2 to combat illegal mining along River Ankobra in the western and western north regions. The Navy's riverine operations along the Volta River, like Operation Oasis in Bui, also assisted in reducing the effects of illegal mining on the black voter. To strengthen security along Ghana's inland waters and riverine areas, government launched the Blue Water Guard training program in 2025, this year. The Blue Water Guard initiative aims to establish 24-hour monitoring of Ghana's water bodies. It is a strategic intervention to tackle illegal mining activities, protect the environment, and restore Ghana's polluted water resources. The first batch of 453 personnel were trained by the Ghana Navy at the Forward Operating Base at Ezinlimbo. A second batch, made up of 532 personnel, commenced training last month and are scheduled to graduate this week. The training of the guards reflect Ghana Navy's commitment to operationalizing government's initiative of ensuring that all mining activities in Ghana leave a positive green footprint and not pollute water bodies. When I assumed office as Minister for Defense, I instituted an inquiry into the enlistment of would-be officers. 452 Ghana Military Academy hopefuls were investigated. Sadly, the outcome of the investigation and audit conducted by the Ghana Armed Forces into enlistment into the Ghana Military Academy for the regular career course 64 and 65 and short service course intake 62 revealed that 210 out of 452, 46%, did not meet the eligibility test. For the regular career course 64, who are currently in training, the audit pointed to some 34 trainees who sidestepped one or more of the stages of the enlistment processes. Ladies and gentlemen, it was difficult sending them home since they had been in training for almost 1 year, 12 months. Sending 34 well-trained, energetic youth who had endured military training home in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous West African sub-region with free-floating weapons and ammunitions can have severe consequences. So, they have been directed to fulfill all criteria. That's the 34. However, if they fail to meet these requirements, they will be released from training. Regarding adversely affected persons in regular career course 65 and short service course 62 who are yet to report for training, they have since been directed to discontinue their participation in the enlistment process. This means 115 regular and 75 short service personnel have been cleared to report for training in due course to join the RCC 64 intake, who we basically pardoned 34 of them, but still asked them to right the wrongs. When I assumed office as Minister for Defense, I instituted an inquiry into the enlistment of would-be officers. 452 Ghana Military Academy hopefuls were investigated. Sadly, the outcome of the investigation and audit conducted by the Ghana Armed Forces into enlistment into the Ghana Military Academy for the regular career course.
Well, just gone by is Dr. Omane Puama then when he was alive. And that's how fleeting life indeed is. May he so continue to rest in peace. Let's cross over to Dibaba, who is our man in the Ashanti region. Dibaba, thank you for joining us again. What else have you picked? We want to know if this crash scene has been cordoned off, so, you know, residents or people who just want to find out. I'm sorry, do we have, it's Abdul Basit, we have all Dibaba from Northern?
Dibaba
Okay,
from Northern
okay,
region.
all right. Then Dibaba from the Northern region, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Annie.
Hello, Dibaba.
I'm with you, Annie.
All right. Give us, the mood. Let's know exactly what's happening in the north, at least maybe within the ranks of the political terrain. What exactly can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon. I can't even say it is a good afternoon in Tamale
If
here
you can raise
because
your voice a bit, Dibaba, we're
yes,
straining to you.
I am saying I can't even call it a good afternoon in Tamale here because the situation or the mood in Tamale
Right.
is not a good one. For that matter, saying good afternoon is something maybe I am finding it difficult to say. When this news broke out, I called a number of political officials within Tamale Central and beyond, and the mood was very bad. In fact, when I called the communications officer of Dr. Mutale's constituency, he couldn't speak to me because he was crying like a baby. I called another officer that is the deputy youth organizer, and it was the same thing. Almost all the executives that I called, being them regional executives and others, it's like they were crying and couldn't even speak. So the mood in Tamale is very bad, and people are really not feeling good about what happened. In fact, even if you look at officials from the New Patriotic Party, they are all mourning, and it is as though everybody, Murtala Mohammed or Dr. Murtala Mohammed, was a neutral person, because it's like almost all the politicians within the region that I've spoken with are not happy. And even people in the markets are not happy. And it's like almost everybody are mourning. In fact, if you can remember, there was a problem between residents of Tamale and VRA. So yesterday, Dr. Murtala Mohammed, in an interview with one of the local stations, made it very clear that he is always thinking of death every day. So according to him, there's no a single day that he will not have death as part of the list of his plans. So Murtala Mohammed was one of the dedicated Muslim politicians from the northern region, if not from the whole of the country. So many people are really loving the way he is, and his demise is really touching almost everybody. And in fact, it is something that I cannot even describe, because the people we have spoken with, the situation is very bad, and we are waiting to see what will happen in the coming days.
How about his family? Have you spotted any of family members? What exactly is happening?
Not yet. We are still trying to speak with the family, but his immediate family are not in the region, but in Accra. But his extended family, brothers and sisters, are in town, and we are trying our possible best to see if we can speak to them. But as we speak, even friends, his close friends, it is very difficult for them to speak to you without crying, not even talk of the immediate family. So we are trying our possible best to see if the family will be able to speak to us as to what or how they are taking this tragic incident.
With his current or recent, visit to the constituency, what were the projects he was advancing?
Even on Saturday, he was scheduled to cut short for the construction of a health facility in his constituency. And in fact, he commissioned one some few months ago in his constituency. As a matter of fact, many people love him because he is doing a lot. Since becoming an MP, he has constructed almost about 5 clinics within the constituency already. And he is training over 40 medical students as we speak, doctors. And about 15 of them are in their 3rd or 4th year. And his promise was that he was trying to make it, if he's going to run for 8 years, he should have over 80 medical students. And as we speak, we have over 40 of them at various levels, at various institutions across the country. Majority of them are the UDS Medical School. And in fact, he has rolled out so many projects within the constituency. In fact, even Tamale Central, there were serious water challenges. But this man has been able to dig so many boreholes, mechanized ones for the constituency. The figures constituency. So the man was doing a lot, and many people are turning out to love him for his policies and his activities within the constituency. And that is why it's like there's some sort of unanimousm in the feeling of his demise. And it's like almost everybody within the metropolis and beyond are feeling the heat of the demise of Dr. Murtala Mohammed. And Honorable Lemuna, who is also from the Savannah region, very close to the northern region. The information I am picking from Damongu is something that is also difficult to describe because many people are finding it difficult to accept the news. In fact, since the news broke out, like I mentioned, many people were calling those who are media people and closer to those people, just to confirm from us whether it was true or not. And as a matter of fact, when we told them that it was true, many of them were crying. One young man called me and told me he received his appointment from Dr. Murtala Muhammad 2 days ago to EPA. So the young man was basically yelling, crying like a baby, saying that the death of Murtala is going to crush many dreams within the northern region and beyond. So Annie, just describing the situation, matter of fact, is something that words can describe. And we are trying our possible best to get videos to accompany this, what I am describing, so that the whole world will get to understand what the situation is like at the grounds in Tamale.
Well, Hassan, can you keep monitoring what's happening with the region, and we'll definitely get back to you. Thank you. Al-Hassan Di Baba there. Remember that Al-Haji Murtala was a member of parliament for Tamale Central, and a very active one for that matter. And obviously, it will be very difficult for the members of his constituency to accept this news, because it suddenly happened. And he was also one of the regular visitors of his constituency almost every weekend. Most of the MPs make it a point to travel to their constituencies. So he was one of those who would definitely do that. We have a video of Murtala Mohammed. Maybe you may want to take a listen.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل عزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشرهم بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين وضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بالثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم إن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مشرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا مرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي العبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بالضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنتم بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخلوا الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
There was a Quran chapter being recited by Al-Haji Murtala Muhammad, obviously, so Muslims may be able to interpret or know exactly what the chapter is. Desmond is back with me. Desmond.
I was just talking to my colleague, Momin, to just summarize what was being said by Dr. Murtala Muhammad. And says the chapter that is known as the heart of the Quran, and that's off head, and so he's a Hafiz. Yeah, so that was what Dr. Murtala was reciting, the chapter from the Quran. But let's now get on to read this statement from the United Nations, and it says that UN Ghana statement on the Ghana Air Force helicopter tragedy, and it reads: the UN family in Ghana mourns with the nation in this moment of deep grief. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families and the people of Ghana. It is with profound sorrow that we receive the tragic news of the fatal crash involving the Ghana Air Force Z-9 helicopter, claiming the lives of distinguished government of Ghana officials, including the Honorable Minister for Defense, Dr. Edward Kofi Omane Boama, and the Honorable Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad. The United Nations family in Ghana mourns with the nation in this moment of deep grief. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families and to the government and people of Ghana as we together face this painful loss. This tragedy is not only a national wound, but also a loss felt across the international community. We stand united at this time of mourning. We honor the memory of those who have passed with hope for their lasting peace. And that's by Zaya Chadri, UN resident coordinator. There's also a statement from the Ghana Armed Forces detailing what exactly happened. I'm going to read that also for you and share with you what it states there. Remember, the earlier statement released by the Ghana Armed Forces said that they were establishing or trying to establish contact, and details will come later. Well, the details are here now, and I'll read that for you in a bit. So let me just go over the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces, and it says that the Ghana Armed Forces helicopter Z9 took off this morning at 9:21 or 9:12 hours from Accra en route to Obuasi and has crashed in the general area of Sikaman near Adansi, a crew formed in the Ashanti region, and all on board are feared dead. The crew were squadron leader Peter Bafemi Anala, flying officer Nanaim Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Adomensa. The passengers were Dr. Edward Wanebwama, Minister for Defense, Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Alhaji Muniru Mohammed, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chair, NDC, and Mr. Samuel Abuaje, former parliamentary candidate, and that is Obuasi East. And the Ghana Armed Forces extends its condolences to the bereaved families. Investigations have commenced to determine the cause of the accident, and this is signed by Veronica Ajo Ahin, Captain, Ghana Navy, Acting Director, General Public Relations. So that's the statements now from the Ghana Armed Forces. And they say investigations have begun to understand what exactly caused the crash. Annie?
Thank you, Desi, for the statements read. I'm sure we'll be receiving some more statements from persons that definitely had a one or two to do with these officials who have just been claimed, lives have been claimed by the plane crash. We have some pictures, from the Jubilee House, reactions from the minister. So that's the Minister for Interior. And earlier on, we even received information that he was on board. As to whether there was a preparation for him to have joined, we don't know. But we're told that he was not. And obviously, as you can see, he was at the presidency, couldn't control his tears. That's John Jinapor, the Minister for Energy. And I think I see the back of Atufosi, Minister for Finance. Everybody is distraught. Obviously not in their best. It's indeed it's a shocking tragedy. I'm not sure what to think of this, Desmond. It's a shocking tragedy. The Minister for Communications at the Presidency, Minister for
Government communications.
Government Communications as well. Okay, so that's Felix Kwachofosu, Minister in charge of Government Communications there. There is a video we're told, okay, that you see on the screen, we're told that Ama Kofi Boa was Minister for Lands and Natural Resources upon hearing the crash. And I think this was the program they were headed.
That was
this was the program they were headed for. So that's the event that the officials were attending, and Kofi Boa, obviously with the Ashanti Regional Minister, shockingly just, got their phones out to confirm, I'm sure to make some phone calls. Indeed, when I was sitting here, Desmond, I actually, pulled out my phone to start calling Honorable Mutala and also Dr. Maneboama. Dr. Maneboama is one person, every time I call him, he picks, regardless, even when he became defense minister. Any clarity I want to make, he's easily reachable, well, at least to me, and always answerable, always on his WhatsApp. Whatever I will send, he will respond, promptly. So when I called and his phone was off, it was a little surprising to me. And I still held my hopes high, hoping that it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as fate will have it, let's go on to the phone lines. Ras Mubarak is a former member of parliament, a member of the NDC, also supposed to even be embarking on a journey to some selected African countries as we're looking at, uniting Africa. And he has joined us via phone to have a conversation with us. Ras Mubarak, thank you for your time, and condolences to you as an NDC member and as a friend, maybe to the members that the party has lost.
Well, thank you very much. This is a very difficult, very tragic, very sad moment, not just for members of the NDC and government, but for all Ghanaians. We have lost husbands. We have lost young men full of life, patriotic, who tragically passed away in the line of duty. And I'd like to express my very heartfelt condolences to the families of Dr. Maneboama, Dr. Mutala Ibrahim Mohammed, Dr. Limuna Muniru, Dr. Sapon, and the officers who passed away in this tragic, helicopter crash. This is one of those moments when you are completely lost for words. I spoke to Dr. Maneboama as early as last Sunday, and the Honorable Mutala Ibrahim, I spoke to him on the 21st. I was just checking my phone records on the 21st of July. And to learn today, tragically, that they have passed away reminds all of us that life is so fleeting, and it is our wish and prayer that their gentle souls would rest in the embrace of God. I mean, these are people I've known personally over the years, and I can tell you that their commitment to our country, their dedication to our country is not questionable. People who are very, very patriotic as well, who are interested in Project Ghana. And to think that they have died in a manner that they have makes it the more sad. A few years ago, we lost Major Mahama, who passed away in the line of duty. He was tragically murdered, fighting the galamsey menace. Today, senior government officials, two of whom are ministers of state, a deputy national security coordinator, the vice chairperson of our party, and officers in uniform, died in the line of duty. Simply because a bunch of greedy, self-serving people have decided that they would continue to destroy our water bodies and our forests. And so, but for the Galamsey menace, they probably would have been alive. And as we reflect on the sad passing of these wonderful souls, the time has come for the country to make a firm decision on what it wants to do with people who destroy our water bodies and our environment. How many more prominent people have to lose their lives in the name of fighting galamsey before we take serious exception to people who are destroying our water bodies? It's very tragic. Wives have lost their husbands. Children have lost their fathers. And I'm told one of the officers who passed away has a child as young as 2 months old. And this child would grow up not knowing who her father was, not enjoying the joy of growing up in the arms of her father. That is what the greedy people in our society, in connivance with foreign nationals, have brought onto ourselves. And so, as we reflect on this sad passing of our comrades who were so passionate, who were so dedicated, who were so patriotic to our country, one thing I remember clearly is the words of the Honorable former MP for Bekwai, Jose Usu, when he made a pronouncement that we should shoot to kill people who are destroying our water bodies and our forest. Everybody got mad. We all scoffed at him. And human rights activists were up in arms that he was reckless, that is unparliamentary. Today we have lost ministers of state. Today we have lost husbands. Today we have lost fathers. Today we have lost, relatives and friends and loved ones. And as if Major Muhammad's passing was not enough for us to, say enough is enough. As if it wasn't enough. And for how long must this continue?
Honorable, I'm not sure if it has hit people yet because I don't know if you were watching, but I was also communicating with my co-host or colleague and told him that this is the reality of galamsey if it's not dawning on people yet. And we think that it is only the young men who have gone into, the pits, and sometimes it collapses on them and we don't really care. And you've just mentioned Major Mahama. If leaders decide to ignore this, they are obviously going to be used as sacrifices as well. And here is the case that we have people who are serving the nation sacrificed for the same call on galamsey. That's a reality that we're faced with as a country, and I'm not sure if it's dawned on people yet.
It's a sad reality. And I don't want the death of Major Mahama to be in vain. I don't want the death of Dr. Manibuama to be in vain. I don't want the death of my brother Mutala to be in vain. I don't want the death of Limuna and Dr. Sapon and the young, brilliant officers to be in vain. This is a national call for action. It's a moment of sadness and grief for the families, for the government, for members of the NDC, for the general public. But beyond the sadness, the reality of galamsey is still waiting on us. And I think that we must make a serious commitment that never again must any Ghanaian, and it doesn't have to be a prominent person, nobody would ever have to lose their life because a bunch of greedy people, are destroying our water bodies. This is completely avoidable. They would have been alive, they would have been in Accra or somewhere else, going about their duties. I mean, as a Muslim, I do believe in the, will of God.
Yeah, so I was even wondering why, as a Muslim, you're even saying what you're saying, because you have
no, I mean, I do believe in the will of God, but human actions also culminate. They lead to tragic losses of life. And this is one of those moments. This is one of those moments, as sad as it is. It's as a result of people destroying our water bodies and destroying our forest. And I don't, look, until we decide to sack DCs and MCs, whose jurisdictions these things happen, until we begin to relieve them of their duties. Because the foreign Chinese national doesn't know where the gold is. So it is our own people who are conniving with these foreign nationals to destroy our water bodies. Until we begin to arrest thieves and people who collude to allow galamsey to fester and go on. We will have this conversation year in, year out. We'll be back to square one. And perish the thoughts. Perish the thoughts. Perish the thoughts. Tomorrow we may be having the same conversation because people, went to find galamsey and they tragically lost their lives. Look at the kind of sophisticated weapons these galamseyers are even using in warding off officers in uniform who are coming to, execute their rightful duties. And you even have some of them brazenly saying on record, they are recording themselves and threatening that if any security officer were to come to where they are, they would finish him. And these videos are in circulation. We haven't heard of the arrest of the young man who made that threatening, comment. It is a sad moment, but it reflects on us very, very badly because this could have been avoided. Our comrades, our friends, our loved ones, our senior government officials, and the officers would have been alive. Husbands would have been alive. Fathers would have been alive. But this is the tragic reality of, allowing people's indiscipline to go on in our country.
When you actually, advise for, some drastic solution to be applied, what exactly do you think we can do now? Because I'm not sure as a country we haven't done anything and everything under the sun.
No, we haven't deterred galamseyers enough. And I think we've treated galamseyers with kids' gloves. We've pandered to their wishes because of political expediency. And so they have been emboldened over the years to think that they could do this, and if their party is in government, they can get out of trouble if they were to be arrested. That is the reality. If we had listened to Joe Weiss, who at the time he made this comment, we were all saying, no. How do you go about shooting young men who are trying to earn a living? How do you justify a young man? Look at the destruction. The destructions are lifelong. What they do to our forests, it will take us years to reclaim.
Mm-hmm.
What they do to our river bodies, kids getting all manner of diseases, cyanide infected water, they don't care about anybody. And so the state must not care about them. If they have decided to use cyanide in our water bodies, look, if you want to know the enormity of the galamsey menace, take a flight from Takrade and see it up in the air. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. And so we must be ruthless, we must be merciless in dealing with this galamsey menace. Otherwise, it won't stop. And politicians should stop entertaining them, whether MDC or MPP. We should stop. Enough is enough. 7 lives plus that of 6 lives plus that of Major Mahama are lives too many. We don't want to lose another officer in the line of duty who's committed no crime because somebody has decided to be selfish and greedy. No. We must take an intolerable stance against galamsey. Otherwise, it would fester. Otherwise, it would blow out of proportion beyond anybody's imagination. Today, they are in the forests. God knows what else they would do tomorrow. And they've got all manner of ammunitions. Why can't we use drone technology? Why can't we begin to sanction districts that fall off, ranking? So we must rank districts. We must begin to, be innovative about fighting galamsey and rank districts that are, galamsey prone, and call them out and shame them. And if you're from a district who is shamed as allowing galamsey to continue and you're okay with it, that's your problem. And we must reward districts that are taking immediate and serious measures in fighting galamsey, and call out those who are that are not, and name and shame them. These things can continue like this. We can't lose precious lives. These are young men who had lives ahead of them, who had so much contributions to make to society, to their families, to their relatives. Today they are all gone. Are we going to cry for 1, 2, 3 days, 1 week, mourn, and then we forget about the root causes? Why they were even on that fateful helicopter? Are we going to forget about why they were even on that fateful helicopter? And I think the only befitting memory, befitting tribute to their memory would be to come back next year when we are commemorating their passing and say, we thank goodness, today galamsey is a thing of the past. That is the only befitting tribute we can give to Omanebu Ama, to Honorable Limuna, to Dr. Sapon, and to Honorable Mutala, and to the officers who died in the line of duty, including Major Mahama. That is only tribute. Otherwise, next year, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, we come back and we talk about the same issues, then what would we have achieved? What would we have achieved? Major Muhammad died, we erected a statue. That is the end of it. Galamsey is still festering. It's still going on. And that is a tragedy of the situation. He had died in vain. Are we going to allow these group of young, dedicated, patriotic Ghanaians also to die in vain? The least we can do to honor their memory would be to nip galamsey in the bud and go after anybody, irrespective of party, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion. People are hiding under the cover of chiefs and party and churches and mosques and committing crimes against the state. We can't entertain it. We're losing precious lives. Kids are dying, because they are drinking water that is infested with cyanide, etc. The food that comes from these places that are supposed to be food baskets, those of us in Accra and other cities, are consuming the same, chemical-infested food. And so you shouldn't even be surprised about the low life expectancy in our country. Men are dying at average 65. Women are dying at average, 67. The food we consume that comes from some of these places that have been destroyed by chemicals are a contributory factor to the low life expectancy we have in our country. And so, yes, we may have criticized Joe Weiss when he proffered the advice of shoot to kill to people who are destroying our water bodies and our forests. Today he's been vindicated. Today he has been vindicated. You can't say no to such a radical, suggestion, because all persuasions have failed. But of course, I would admit that one of the root causes also of this is the lack of sustainable jobs for young people in these places. And so there's got to be a raft of measures that would aggressively be put in place to make sure that the young people are busy, doing something else, giving alternative livelihood, and not galamsey. Today, look at our cocoa farms. People are, completely, destroying cocoa farms just so that they can, look for minerals. Today we've lost our position as a leading producer of cocoa. We've lost it to the Ivory Coast. It is because of things like this. The young people are no longer interested in farming. The farmers are getting older. And they are destroying the farms for galamsey. And if we don't, hold the bull by the horn and continue to treat galamsey with kids' gloves, tragically, we may lose, officers in line of duty. It's a sad reality. It's a moment of sober reflection. But beyond a sense of sadness, we must not forget what brought us here. Are you with me?
I am. I am with you. I am with you. I'm with you. Ras Mubarak. We and obviously, as you speak, death sometimes comes our way to teach us a lesson, so we learn from it and do the right thing going forward. But we seem to get worse as a people, even in the midst of death. So, making reference to Major Mahama's situation, I remember how everything came to a stall. Everything came to a stall in the country. The whole nation was thrown into sort of a mourning state, as though we were going to, as though we're going to change overnight, and nothing of that nature happened. I will not be shocked if next year we'll be sitting here having the same communication and nothing really will change. It almost takes, I don't know what it will take to get the people out of the practice, to get leadership, obviously take drastic action, as you're saying, that we're treating galamseyers with kid gloves. I'm not sure exactly what it would take us to realize the value that galamsey is taking from us.
We are a country that is forgetful, and so we mourn for a short time, and we forget why we were even in a state of mourning. And it is my prayer that with the sudden tragic demise of our comrades and friends, that we would take the action to make sure that people do not lose their lives in this manner. I can imagine the grief that has befallen the families of these young men, all in their prime, hardworking, dedicated, passionate about Ghana, who had their lives ahead of them. It is truly sad, but we take consolation in the fact that these are lives well lived. Every one of them has paid their dues. With the exception of the officers, I know every one of them at the personal level. And I can tell you for a fact that they are men with integrity. They are men who loved Ghana beyond measure. They are men who believed in Project Ghana and who dedicated their lives to Project Ghana.
Right.
Words are simply inadequate to express the grief that has befallen, those of us who know them on a personal level, and I can imagine what immediate family members would be going through.
Right.
And on such sad notes, I can only, express heartfelt condolences to them.
Honorable Ras Mubarak, we're grateful. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing your condolence moments with us. Ras Mubarak is my former member of parliament for Kumbungu constituency. So that's his part. And obviously, you know, I raised the issue of galamsey, and he's added on so much to it that the fight against galamsey and all the adjoining efforts is becoming a reality that it will cost us lives, it will cost us fathers, mothers, you know, caretakers, breadwinners. It will cost us almost everything of our lives. We just have to be hit by the reality indeed and know that something is happening, either physically or spiritually, however you take it. But galamsey is definitely taking a toll on the country. Desmond is back with me.
The meeting from the New Patriotic Party, and I'll be reading that. And also, we have visuals showing the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakonhene, leading a team to the very ground where the crash happened. We'll be showing that to you in a bit. But let me just read the tribute from the NPP. It says that New Patriotic Party devastated by the tragic death of 8 persons in a military helicopter crash. Says the party is reeling with sorrow and grief following the tragic crash of a military helicopter that claimed the lives of all 8 persons on board. Their passing is not only a devastating blow to their families, but also a profound loss to the entire nation they work to protect and build. We extend our deepest and most heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. No words can truly capture the anguish of this moment. We pray that the Almighty God grants them comfort and strength during this excruciatingly difficult period. We call for a thorough, transparent, and swift investigation into the cause of the crash. The dignity of the lives lost demands answers and accountability to ensure that this never happens again. In this time of grief, we call on all Ghanaians to come together in unity, prayer, and compassion. Let us stand with the families left behind. Let us console and strengthen one another. May the souls of these 8 heroes rest in perfect peace until the last day of the resurrection, when we shall meet again. Signed by the General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodia. So that's from the New Patriotic Party. So on your screens right now, you're seeing the rings of the crash on there. But we'll also show you the video of the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakonhene, leading the team to the site where the incident happened. And Samuel Kulita Blackwell, the Foreign Affairs Minister, says pain unimaginable, with some broken heart emojis there. So we can take that video now of the Ashanti Regional Minister leading the team to the site where the crash happened.
Yeah, auntie. Number regiment sana. Wanam kuku ni mahobana. Okobi asem. Isi yana. Yeah. Yes. Tiba ya please come na tuna. Edimono. Eno me yani free. Tandimantim ebae. Nti edaso ko bia akwanhia no esi ye no. Tibeja minister nam kuku na ase a. Okono. We actually say sometime no dey abrantie e dia dia asem si otumi ko bepo no nya bepo a eda fom kura bepo kase pa nti ye ko bia na asem no esi ye bepo no na fom kura.
So that's the Ashanti Regional Minister making his way to the crash scene, and we'll definitely will give you the updates of that journey that he is trying to make. From the reporter that was on the scene, it's a mountain, so I guess the climbing is a little tedious, Desmond.
We run there. That is quite a mountainous area and deep in the forest. So the they had to trek for a while to get to the scene where the incident happened. So now
we have an interview actually.
Okay, sure.
Yes, the MP for Ablikma South has joined us on the phone lines. Alfred Okovanda Poi, Honourable Member of Parliament for Ablikma South. Honourable Member, thank you for your time and condolences to you and then everybody who is associated to the departed.
Yes, I can barely hear you, but I think that this is a sad day for our country, a sad day for our party and our government. Yes, our condolences to the families affected, our colleagues, their families, their relatives, and everybody. You know, this is an unfortunate situation that you lose your life in such a manner on your way to work. You know, it's something that nobody would have thought would happen. Unfortunately, it has happened, and it's a sad day, really. That people will lose their lives in the course of duty like this. It's an unfortunate news that we did not expect. And it's too bad. These are very lively people. Mutala in Parliament. Oh, I was just sitting with him last week Thursday at the conference center. He was sitting by me, you know, and we had a good chat. We had a good discussion. And when the program was over, we parted. And I went to Parliament, and he was going to another meeting. You know, and nobody was looking forward to such a news.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was definitely looking forward to such a news, and nobody will expect that because these men are young, vibrant, strong indeed, no sign of sickness. So it's very far from expectation. However, the concerns that have been raised, at least by a few people, and we here on the platform here at Metro TV haven't spoken about, is the issue of galamsey. Ras Mubarak just went off the phone lines and reminded us of Major Mahama, who some years back was murdered gruesomely by some very wicked people by the way they did it, or because of the galamsey. This incident that we've recorded is also associated to galamsey, and the reality is dawning on us that maybe we are not approaching this fight the right way, and we're not seeing the dangers associated with it and the value we're losing to galamsey. Apart from losing our lands, our foods, our water bodies, we're losing human lives as well.
Yes, I hear you. I hear what you are saying. But at this point, I think it's the fact that we have lost precious tools, you know, the line of duty. And for me, it's something that is hard to take. So yes, I hear that. I hear your concern about galamsey and all that. Yes, but at the moment that we have lost precious lives.
Yeah.
Individuals who woke up this morning,
yeah,
had our nation at heart and on their minds to go and work for the nation. And they did not return back to their families. They did not return back to their children. They did not return to their wives and families. And that is what we are facing. A tragedy. No, it's not a welcome news.
At all.
You know, so the task, the demand that took them to wherever they were going, whatever the challenges and the issues were. Yeah, we'll deal with that. But I'm saying that we have precious souls who were going on a national duty and did not return back. That is heartbreaking. People you were sitting with in Parliament, you were talking to some few days ago, and all of a sudden they are no more. You know. So yes, the reason why they were flying and where they were going, yes, that one we will look into that. But the immediate point is that we have lost precious souls. Nobody can put yourself in that situation. It's a very bad news for our country, for our government, and for all of us. You know, our condolences to their families, to their relatives, to their. It's bad. It's not good. We don't have words to talk about. It's a bad thing. I didn't wish that for anybody.
Thank you for speaking to us, Honorable Okovandapoy.
Thank you for your service to our dear nation. That at such a time like this, you can give us the time to mourn together. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, it's indeed a difficult time for the whole nation. My colleague Shadrach Odamiejari has joined us. Shadrach, you're welcome.
Thank you, Annie. It's been a difficult day already because on the usual, the meetings would have to be on a lighter note, or meetings where there's something to celebrate. But it's rather unfortunate we can't put our minds to celebrating anything time of the year.
Well, I was actually speaking to you earlier on when you were at the presidency. You know, in the capacity of Dr. Mane Boama's position as a defense minister, I'm sure his engagement and his involvement in all cabinet meetings and maybe activities of the presidency is quite a lot, because you know, the security of the nation is in his hands. So there's a lot, you know, for him, and it's the irony of it that he rather fell victim in trying to protect the whole nation, right? If you can share with us, you know, whenever these persons, you know, at the presidency, their interaction, the nature of their interactions, like, and how they move about doing their things.
So, for someone like Dr. Mane Boama, I am working with him or at both ends. So because I am with the Defense Press Corps, I get to work with him on that side, and then also his engagements at the presidency. And I think recently one of our very conversations were on the fight against illegal mining, and then the new ways that government would have to use in tackling illegal mining, what the military is supposed to do, internal or interior matters, should the military come in, military brutality. So we've had engagement after the government accountability series, like you mentioned earlier. He's a very responsive person, so he doesn't mind you questioning him, even if it's behind the cameras, regardless of which location. once you need clarity, he's always there to give you what. And I think he's mostly a man of few words. He's the quiet type. I don't know if that is what I have witnessed, but he's the quiet type. He gets to open up more when he's around the very people he's so much comfortable. When I say comfortable, there are people you have worked with over 10 years, over 15 years, and they know things the ordinary Ghanaian would not know. So he comes up alive, but he's one easygoing person and someone who is very passionate. I think even me being in the press corps, he's the very first defense minister that met us in the few months he started working, to tell us what his plans are, what he expects the Defense Press Corps to do, what he wants to do for the Ghana Armed Forces and Ghana at large. So his doors are always open. There are even times he will tell, "Oh, I mean, you slated maybe Monday for my conversation. Can we please do Tuesday morning? Can we please do Wednesday?" Like Omani Buama, doctor, is one easygoing person, and I think even before the elections, we were working more because every time you needed updates on election, the parties take what is happening at the head office and stuff. So I
do have a special, a personal relationship with him. I mean, since I met him, I don't think Dr. Moniboma is a person you can actually describe with a word, but he's one person who will never give you a reason to doubt anything about him. When you were talking that he's very affable,
yeah,
but also reserved.
Mm-hmm.
I want to believe that he's one person who has just a few to hide, really.
I'm very sure.
He's not afraid to face anything. He's not afraid to express
himself,
even though you wouldn't catch him ordinarily on the daily basis, talking. But when he has to speak, it's with boldness and
he makes
and clarity,
yeah.
And he makes a lot of sense, trying to speak. I guess that's a personality that he has. But he was always warm, actually, to me. Every time I met him, it was like, a father meeting a child. And like you are here and you see excitement in his eyes whenever.
Well, we were also usually unable to really, you see, like I said, he comes across like this very reserved or quiet person. So for those of us that are so easygoing and everywhere, at some point it even looks like you are just bothering him.
You're doing too much.
I mean, doing too much maybe. So we just do honorable the suit, honorable. So you have like a snappy conversation, and then you are out. Unlike others where we can like
Murtala Mohammed. He's more open.
Murtala Mohammed
very vibrant,
is
very loud.
I mean, you don't even need to call him honorable. You can, from afar, you can just say Murtala, and the next moment is, I think our last conversation was, I think we were talking environment, galamsey. I think the day we spoke about the wetland encroachment and people taking over the Sakumono Ramsar site. So I think later on we're having a conversation on that, and then on galamsey, and he was even saying galamsey is not a lands ministry fight. Mm-hmm. It's actually a 360 fight where the lands ministry, the environment ministry, so he was doing the explanation. Then I had to tilt elsewhere, and I was telling hey, Honorable, the day you were doing the swearing, I saw your wife, see her nose, see how beautiful your wife is. And he said the men, you say we are not handsome, we are fearful.
So they have to pick women.
We have to get women that are beautiful. And today, after the news, and you see from the morning, I think when it started brewing, the news of the crash started brewing, people were mixing up the names. So Mutale's name didn't really come up.
But
it was Muntaka's name that came
so
up.
we even got that the news that Muntaka's name was.
It was Muntaka's name that came up. So
and also there was an earlier report that the minister went through a different route as though he went with a vehicle. In fact, that was also an earlier information I picked up.
And you see, in this moment, everybody is restless. And like I said, we as Ghanaians, our sense of humanity is quick to be triggered. So everybody wants to say something, do something, or expect something that would take brains off the unexpected or the misfortune that may be brewing gradually. So later, I think even we also had local government Ahmed Ibrahim's name around. So later on, then the confirmation came in that Ahmed Ibrahim wasn't there. Then later on, Muntaka wasn't there. So that was where now people started staying positive. And I think even from the onset, it wasn't like he wasn't there, but they said, local government, why do I keep forgetting? Ahmed was there. So was
there already?
No, I'm asking, Ahmed is alive.
Okay.
That was how the news came out. So it looked like if Ahmed is alive,
then possibly
then obviously,
other ministers.
And then there were other people from other regions putting stuff on social media. Oh, people were hurt. It was the pilots that really got injured. So now people were hopeful, people were positive. At least, yes, injuries are bound to happen in an accident. But once everybody comes up with different injuries, but everybody is alive, we are good to go. People will just nurse their wounds and then we are fine. Only for us to later on hear about the blast and then subsequently bodies charred beyond recognition. And that was where all the hearts started breaking here.
We have Her Excellency, Mrs. Saba Zita Mensah. She is Ghana's ambassador designate to the United Kingdom, and she's joined us via phone. So let's speak with her. Ms. Benson, thank you for your time, Your Excellency, and you're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Thank you for agreeing to speak with us. I'm not sure where you are. Where's your location now?
Thank you very much, Annie, and thanks for reaching out. I'm in Accra right now.
You're in Accra. Okay. Yes. Okay. So first, let's find out from you how you got the story or how you heard it.
I was having I had 2 meetings scheduled today, so I had just finished the first one. But the first one, as I was at the meeting, I was receiving calls. So I thought they were just normal calls. I didn't answer any. And so when I finished my meeting, I called one of them, returned the call. And then they told me that, there's been a helicopter crash and mentioned some names and if I could find out. So I was actually in shock. My legs started shaking. Mm-hmm. I started panicking and I sat down and then I didn't even know who to call at that moment because my mind went blank. Mm-hmm. And then, I called a friend. And then they confirmed that there had been a crash and mentioned a few names, So that's how I found out. It was very shocking. I think I've still not recovered. I'm still shaking. Quite weak. Sorry.
All of us are still in shock. Honestly, I think it would take me about 24 hours to come to terms with the reality.
Weak. My heart is beating double. I'm in shock.
So I was on the discussion when my colleague and some guests were spoken to on the phone already. First of all, we've raised the issue of galamsey and how we are trying to fight this menace and how it keeps taking value away from us. So all the gruesome killings and murders that we record, we've made reference to Major Mahama. This is where the nation also have to mourn for losing ministers of state and very high officials to a plane crash, all in the name of an attempt to fighting galamsey. Has it dawned on you yet? Is it something that you're seeing that from this stage, we probably cannot be a third fool as a country?
Yes, yes, I totally agree with you, Annie. This galamsey thing has taken too many lives. Look at the gruesome manner in which they killed those people, killed Major Mahama. He's still not gotten justice. They are there, and it's going on, and it's getting worse. We really need to now handle the situation we've been treating them with kids gloves. Apart from the lives, the prominent lives that we have lost so far, they have destroyed so much of our environment. They have destroyed our water bodies. Babies have been born who have been born disabled because of mercury in the water that their pregnant mothers drank.
Yeah.
And they are causing a lot of mayhem to the country. So I think that going forward, we need to treat them, we have to stop negotiating with them. We are negotiating with them. They still doing it. They don't care about anybody. They don't care about the damage they are doing to society. They only think about the money that they make. So I feel that it's very sad. It's very sad that these 8 people woke up this morning in the course of duty. They were going to serve their motherland. They knew that they would be coming home. Their wives are expecting them home. Their children are expecting them back home. And to wake up and even hear on the news that your relative has died in this gruesome manner, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So these galamseyers,
and we're pleading with people to stop sharing the gory scenes that they have in their picture gallery. Just
yes, it's horrible. I saw one on a WhatsApp platform, and I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to be. I was like, but who would share this? Why would you share this? If this was your relative, would you want to share a child body of your relative? Why are you sharing it? You shouldn't be sharing it. So we love to share everything. It's not everything that you need to share. So people must be sensitive. Those sharing it must stop. Be sensitive enough to the relatives of the deceased. It's very bad. It's very bad because the images, some of them cannot even leave your memory. I saw one,
but is it possible?
Still in my
is it
mind.
possible because it's social media? I think people are feeling overly free. Is it possible to give a directive to that action so people will stop sharing? Because at least it's within the military sector, and I know how the military do their things. They do not allow just anything and everything, just as civil servants, the way we behave. I think the military has a very different way of doing things. Is it possible a directive can be
it is
issued?
possible to plead with them not to share, but unfortunately, it's already gone, and it's gone far. So once it's gone, they've shared it already. People will keep resharing. So, but it's possible to give a directive that people should stop sharing, but they already have it on their phones and they're sharing.
I mean, if you have it on your phone, that's okay. But you can be directed to pull it down if you have it on your social media platform.
Yes, of course, they need to. And admins of WhatsApp platforms must also delete these things. Admins of WhatsApp platforms should delete. Yes, if anyone has shared these things on your WhatsApp platform, delete them. Don't. We should end the resharing. These things are very bad memories for everybody, all of us, very bad memories. So I don't even know why they are sharing these things. It's very, very insensitive of them, very insensitive. So
with regard to the crash, I spoke with a security consultant who gave us the possible causes, and he gave us the time of the flight itself. He gave us the terrain where the crash happened. He gave us the status of the aircraft they used, and in this case they used a chopper. He gave us also the weather conditions and all. Now I connected it also to your post that you wrote. Are you suspicious of anything funny, happening?
Annie, anything is possible. Anything and everything is possible. At this time, you have 5 senior government officials on a chopper, and they've lost their lives. So I believe that an investigation must be conducted immediately. We shouldn't leave any stone unturned. We shouldn't assume that it was just an accident. These are 5 senior government officials, and and even before they move, the whoever is in charge must have checked the weather. So you check the weather. If the weather is not convenient, you inform them that this weather is not good for flying. So if that didn't happen, then there was negligence somewhere. And then you also check the state of the chopper. So if that wasn't done, then there's negligence. And then there's possibility that it was also fiddled with. So an thorough investigation must be done. Whether
So
the
so in
weather,
this case,
they looked
the
at the
last
weather,
person,
the
so in
weather
this,
condition. Sorry.
so in this case, the last person who was supposed to check on the chopper, for doing a 360 investigation, also will be a suspect then.
Yes. Yes. So these are senior, the Minister of Defense. Can you imagine? Minister of Environment, a deputy, a national security coordinator. These are senior officials. They've lost their lives in this and JFK. You remember the incident of JFK? He died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't just assume that because this is Ghana, these things are not possible. It's highly possible. So I believe that from where I stand, I think that an investigation must be conducted. The site of the accident should be preserved. If we even have to bring in foreign experts to come,
for forensics, to be done. I was worried when I saw people going to the scene, so I was advising on air.
That is the reason why I posted that the site must be preserved, because I also saw that people were at the scene. The site at this time, the police or the military should go and cordon off that site, so that people don't go and interfere. It should be a site of investigation as we speak. It should be cordoned off. It must be protected. Even if we have to bring specialists, forensic specialists from America to come and investigate what killed 5 senior officials. If we don't investigate to find out what happened, it can happen again.
You seem very worried about your suspicion of partisanship within the military.
Oh well, I guess that we are all in this country. Everybody is partisan. We all vote. We all have parties that we vote for. So I'm not necessarily saying that they are partisans, so they did it. I'm just saying that we must investigate. Do you understand? I'm not necessarily pointing fingers at anybody. I'm just saying that in as much as in every institution, even in your institution, you have people who are on NDC, you have people who are in MPP. It's not everybody who will like you. It's not everybody who will like so. But at the end of the day, we are all Ghanaians. So I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. Yeah. But I'm just saying that we must investigate. The investigation must start from weather. Whoever was in charge before the chopper moved, did they check the weather condition to see if it was conducive for flying? Did they check the state of the chopper? Because here you have 5 senior government officials flying in that chopper. You have to make sure they are safe. When you take the case of Kobe Bryant, the basketball star, Kobe Bryant, he was warned. He was warned by the tower that it was bad weather for flying. He went ahead. So were these people warned that it was bad weather, and but we have to find out the cause.
But even if they were warned, we need the evidence that show that they were indeed warned.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that an investigation must be conducted, because if the weather is not good for flying, you have to let them know that you cannot go in this weather, and then let them go by road. But you don't put them in so whoever is in charge of weather, they must be questioned. Did you warn them? Were you aware of the weather conditions? If the investigation says that okay, it was bad weather that caused the accident, So So as I was saying. As I was saying, sorry,
investigation must be conducted.
Yes, investigation must be conducted. And when was the last time the chopper was serviced? Who serviced it? Did anything happen? Was anything removed?
I have my colleague in the studio, Shadrach Odami Ajare, who has been with the military, reporting from the military base almost all the time. And his complaint or his concern and observation has been that any chopper they will use doesn't really look like it's in a good condition. Almost all the military choppers are in bad conditions.
Yeah, okay. So as we speak now, we must wait for the investigation to be done.
Yeah.
And then when that is done, then we will know the cause of this thing. But I think that as we speak, the site of the accident must
Must be
be
cordoned off.
preserved for the necessary forensic investigations to be conducted.
Right.
If we bring in proper forensics to conduct this investigation, I'm sure that if there was any foul play, they would see it. We shouldn't just take it lying as, oh, this is just a mere accident and accept it as it is.
Right.
I think that we should go beyond that.
But with
So
your
that
position, I'm sure you can influence this narrative. We have seen in video the Ashanti Regional Minister Amwakohene headed for the what's it called, the crash scene. So
Yes.
obviously this information must reach them so that they know that they don't even have to go directly onto the site
yes,
or the
yes,
scene
I agree.
to
I
tamper
agree.
with
The place
evidence.
needs to be cordoned off until all investigations are done. Because if anything, if there's any foul play, you cannot. We need to preserve it. We need to
Right.
preserve it for forensics to come in before people are allowed onto that site.
Her Excellency, since your confirmation or appointment, we have not been able to speak with you, but unfortunately, in the midst of this, we still will congratulate you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
It's a
you.
bad day for me, but
Indeed.
thank you. Yeah.
Apologies.
Thank you very
And my
much.
condolences to you as well as a member
Thank
of the
you.
party. Thank you. And that is Mrs. Zita.
Bye, Annie. Thank you.
Bye, ma'am. Mrs. Saba Zita Benson and Her Excellency, the Ambassador Designate for UK, as a High Commissioner. I would say Ghana's High Commissioner Designate for the UK, speaking to us.
Back to the table. Yeah. So you see, I remember recently we were in the OT region where the president, the final thank you tour was in the OT region, and after his speech, people were like, "Oh, President Anchewaha, he didn't take long. Is it because the NDC feels they are attached to the Volta or the OT region?" But if people paid attention to him before he started, he mentioned in Chi that he has been warned that there is a storm coming from Togo and they would have to be careful with the flying. So they have to leave early before the time the storm is expected to come in will be due. So, like you mentioned, there are lots of questions running on social media on who serviced what, who okayed the flying, was the chopper in any good condition, the weather, was it favorable, who checked and said, okay, looking at the weather, you can maybe fly in the next hour, or they just decided because the program is starting at time A, we should leave at time B. So all those things come into play. You see, early on, I was giving you the my example where we were about taking off and the engines, this one turns on and then this one goes off. And in those moments, as naive as I would be in those times and inexperienced, because it is not mine, I don't know anything about fixing of a chopper. So I would then begin to think, Ana asay na yedi akugum. What if ask lie? I think that day, once we're airborne, I had to tap the pilot and was like, I'm feeling hot. And they were laughing at me, but that was me in shock, just because before takeoff, this engine turns on. This, by the time this one turns on, this one is off. By the time this, and if you know the signs, you would realize that the officer in front will just be moving the hand to show you that the engine is on. Then it tells you it is off. It goes to that engine. So just even those who know, even it may have been usual or normal practice, but for the ordinary Ghanaian, anybody might have misinterpreted that. So one, we are not privy to operations of the chopper and how, whether servicing, whether taking boxes before takeoff, like I said, whether the whole chopper on its own, is it okay to fly? So I agree with Zita on a 360 investigation and the cordon of that particular site, because maybe there are rebels that are going to help in the investigations they would want to carry out from that incident.
If there was any foul play, the plane would have maybe certain, the crash plane, I mean, will have certain parts that can be identified by forensics as to when it went off, or if it was not there, or if something has
because
usually
I know usually in plane crashes they start looking for the black box. So I don't know what box
this one will have
that chopper. They would be looking, because when she mentioned that who okayed flying, and you mentioned that there must be.
So guess what? Someone says that, Annie, the helicopter has a black box, which can also give the investigators the fair idea of what happened before the helicopter crashed.
So I was right. Yeah.
Right.
So usually that is what is done. So I agree totally with Zita, police and military presence around that side.
Right. Bassett is joined us via phone to give us some updates. Bassett, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So I'm sorry. I keep greeting good afternoon, but I know there's nothing good about this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yes. However, we have life, so all the better. Give us some updates. We were told that the Ashanti Regional Minister and a couple of people were visiting the crash scene. What exactly, prompted this, and how far has it gone?
Yes, it is true that Ashanti Regional Minister, immediately they had the information, he abandoned the program that he was supposed to chair. He abandoned it to the scene, because of the distance from the town to where the incident occurred. It took them more than 2 hours before they were able to arrive at the scene. They went there with a rescue team as well. So, because of the way the bush is, they find it difficult to be able to retrieve the body. But as I speak with you now, 8 charred body had been retrieved, and the process they are into a processes to send them to the morgue for preservation and other necessary. I mean, according to Ashanti Regional Minister, they will call for an immediate investigation into the circumstances that led to this unfortunate incident. Actually, Annie, I would say the whole region is in a state of shock. But one thing I also want to add is that right now that this incident has happened, I know it will call for a whole lot of retooling of the security services. This same chopper that was involved in accident today, there was a time we traveled with the then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. We faced some difficulties in even landing with the same chopper, meaning that looking at the chopper, I think it has, I would say, it has worn out to some extent that government have to look at retooling, or if replacing such important apparatus for the security services, so that you will not experience this unfortunate.
When you say the same chopper, are you referring to the helicopter Z9? Is that the same chopper you guys traveled with?
Come again.
Is it the Z9 as the Ghana Armed Forces named it?
The Ghana Armed Forces, yes, the Ghana Armed Forces helicopter.
Is it the Z9? Because this was specific. Helicopter Z9. Is that the same you traveled with?
Yes, this same helicopter. The same helicopter that was involved.
You mean the one that has crashed? That's what you traveled with?
The one that crashed today.
Okay.
The helicopter itself has destroyed beyond repair, and probably it will inform the authorities to replace with a better one.
Okay, so the minister is still in the forest trying to get to the scene.
Come again.
Is the minister still in the forest or he's back?
Yes, the bodies has been retrieved, and as at now, they've conveyed the necessary anything that they are supposed to remove from they've conveyed. Even though there are other people over there, the minister has left the scene, but though he has not en route to Kumasi yet, but he has left the mountain as I speak with you.
Abdul, we're grateful for your time. Thank you for giving us some updates here. And I see Desmond has also joined me again. Let's see, what do you have this time around? You did not give us the detail of the NPP's condolence release. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the General Secretary of the party. There's still tributes coming in from the minority in Parliament. I'll be sharing that with you. And also, the German Embassy has released a statement regarding this particular incident. So we'll have that on the screen in a bit so we can go through. But of course, Basti giving us the details that the bodies have been retrieved, and we understand that they'll be flown to Accra. And I know the investigations, everybody, we all need to know what exactly led to this particular crash. So let's get into the tributes as we have coming in. And this is from the minority in Parliament, says that the loss of Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane Boamah, Environment Minister Honorable Dr. Alhaji Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator Munir Mohammed, NDC former parliamentary candidate Samuel Buaje, NDC National Affairs Vice Chairman Samuel Sapon, and other 3 valiant military personnel, Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Mani Chumampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Adomensa represent a profound human loss that touches the very soul of our nation. These were fathers, husbands, sons, and devoted patriots who awakened this fateful Wednesday morning with a noble intention of serving Ghana. And the statement continued that following the formal announcement earlier today by the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra, confirming the tragic loss of life in today's military helicopter crash, I wish to express my profound grief and that with the minority in Parliament over this devastating accident that has claimed 8 precious Ghanaian lives, including 2 distinguished cabinet ministers and dedicated public servants who give their all in service of our beloved Ghana. I must speak from the heart about 2 men I knew not as political opponents, but as fellow Ghanaians united in our love for this country. Honorable Dr. Alhaji Murtala Mohammed and I may have sat across the parliamentary aisle, but we shared countless moments of genuine discourse about Ghana's future. His passion for environmental protection transcended party politics, and he possessed that rare quality of listening with intent to understand. Dr. Edward Omane Boamah brought to his role as Defense Minister a scholar's intellect combined with a patriot's heart. In our private conversations, I witnessed the man deeply committed to modernizing our armed forces whilst preserving the values that make Ghana's military a source of national pride. These personal losses remind us that behind every political position lies a human being, someone's beloved family member, and someone's trusted friend. To His Excellency, the President, I extend my sincere condolences and the full support of the minority in Parliament in these difficult times. Your loss is our loss. Your grief is our grief. In this moment of national tragedy, we stand united with you as Ghanaians mourning together. To the grieving families of all 8 victims, government ministers, members of the majority caucus, NDC members, military personnel, and public servants alike, our hearts go out to you in this darkest hour. To all Ghanaians who mourn with heavy hearts, know that your loved ones live on, and let us honor these 8 souls by supporting our armed forces, protecting Ghana's environment, and working together for our nation's security and prosperity. Let us channel our grief into renewed determination to build the Ghana we or they envisioned, where public service is viewed as a sacred trust and every citizen can contribute to our national progress. May their souls rest in perfect peace, and may their memories remain everlasting beacons of light, guiding us towards a more united and prosperous Ghana. So this was signed by the minority leader, signing Alexander Kwamena Avenue. Now to the German embassy, they also released a statement to mourn with the Ghanaian people, and let me get to that and also read that. So they write that it is with deep sorrow and heartfelt sympathy that the German embassy in Accra has learned of the tragic loss of lives in a helicopter crash on Wednesday, August 6, 2025. Our thoughts and prayers are with the government, families, and friends of the victims. Among the victims are honorable public servants, including 2 ministers with whom the German embassy has worked closely and trustfully. Their dedication to Ghana's development, their vision, and their personal warmth will be deeply missed. Germany stands in grief and solidarity with the people of Ghana during this difficult time, signed the German embassy Accra. So those are the statements that we have brought to you from the German embassy in Accra and also the minority in Parliament about this tragic event. And may their souls definitely rest in perfect peace. We connected with our Eastern Regional correspondent, and definitely he'll be joining us very soon. But, I mean, families are distraught, friends, everybody. And, of course, you see Shadrach Odamia Jaria, correspondent.
So I think there's more on the screen. So Ghana Armed Forces.
So that's the Ghana Armed Forces. I read this earlier, but that's what it is. The details that came in later, that the Z9 took off this morning at 9:12 hours from Accra on Route 2 of Wasi, and that has crashed in the general area of Sikama near Adanse, Krofom, in the Ashanti region, and all on board are confirmed dead. The Ghana Armed Forces regrets to announce the crew, Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Adom Mensah. And of course, it goes on to mention all the others in there, and the Ghana Armed Forces extends its condolences to the bereaved families. Investigations have commenced to determine the cause of the accident.
Desi, do you know what it means to lose your defense minister?
Well, it means the defense of the country is down. And Stoneboy has also written saying that fly away home, diligent servants of Mother Ghana, with the hashtag Black Wednesday. Of course, with his music, Bidig there. So there you see fire officials dousing the flames from the helicopter, the Z9. And
so the BBC has captured this on its website. And it says that 2 Ghanaian ministers died in helicopter crash, along with 6 others. The story actually wrote that Ghana's Minister of Defense and Environment have died in a military helicopter crash in the central region, in the central Ashanti region. I don't know why they wrote central Ashanti region. Along with 6 others.
The central part of the Ashanti region.
Maybe they wanted to write the central part of Ashanti region. That's what they meant. Okay. So along with 6 others, other people, and the government spokesperson said, now, Defense Minister Edward Omani Boma, Environment and Science and Technology Minister Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed were killed in the crash, which Chief of Staff Julius Zebra described as a national tragedy. Indeed. So these are videos of the National Fire Service, quenching the flame, I guess.
Yeah.
So the flights. So, okay, right. So we have a retired colonel and security expert, Festus Abwaji, who has joined us via phone, and I'm sure to also join in the conversation we're having. Colonel, thank you for your time, and condolences to all of us.
Hello.
Hello, retired
Hello.
Colonel. Yes, I can hear you. I was just thanking you for your time and condolences, wishing us condolence to, the whole country.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, the line is a bit faint, but
It's
never
faint.
mind.
Okay, I guess the producers must do something about it. Am I audible enough now?
We'll take it like that. Let me join all the rest of everybody to seize this opportunity to express very sincere condolences to the bereaved families. Because all the individuals belong first to families. Their fathers and mothers, if they are alive, their own spouses or partners, now, of course, their children and their siblings and so on. My very sincere condolences to the bereaved family. Then I think of the 8 or the 5. I'm only assuming that they are largely members of the National Democratic Council. So I wish to use this opportunity to also express condolences to, the party for having lost such illustrious members and officials. And by and large, we are all Ghanaians. And they were on duties relating to their respective portfolios when they lost their lives. So for the civilian ministers, the acting deputy national security coordinator, and the rest of the 5, and then the technical crew from the squadron leader and his deputy and, the other senior NCO. I also wish to express very sincere condolences to their families, to the Ghana Air Force, by extension to the Ghana Armed Forces. The little that I have learned since the event broke was that they were traveling on one of the Ghana Air Force helicopters, which had been acquired for Ghana gas duties, I think some 10 years ago, during the first tenure of the incumbent president. The maximum capacity of the helicopter is 8, 3 crew, and then 5 passengers. So that was the maximum. Now, if this was going to happen, and the aircraft or the helicopter had been bigger, invariably we would have lost a few more than the 8 who have perished under such tragic circumstances. The other angle that adds to the tragedy of the case is that we've had a few, aircraft incidents, especially around helicopters. There was one that some of us might recall in 2007 when a Ghana Air Force helicopter was conducting some funeral duties, conveying the body of a former, senior officer of the Ghana Armed Forces to, the Equapim area, got entangled in some electric wires and so on. Granted that it crashed, nobody died in that accident. I've been reminded about another one in 2021 during an exercise when there was a similar, emergency landing. So the aircraft landed, but nobody died. And there have been a few others that others are citing. This, in recent memory, is the most tragic. That we lost the aircraft, and beyond that, we lost the 8 lives from the videos a video that I've seen. I don't know who circulated that. But to have bodies on fire, it's not a sight that any one of us would wish to keep in our memories. So the circumstances have been quite tragic. I'm also aware of a number of conspiracy theories that have already started on social media. Some are alleging, let me say, sabotage. Some are calling for the technical personnel who maintain the aircraft to be arrested and locked up in guard rooms, for instance. It's too early, to arrive at such conclusions. We've all heard, thanks to the media, we've heard a couple of narratives from witnesses. The one that I heard in the morning, that they saw the aircraft, which was unusually flying very low. Now, granted that aircraft can fly low, what we call the nap of the earth, during tactical exercises to evade detection. This was not a tactical exercise. This was a VIP, in quotes, flight. So to the extent that the helicopter was seen flying very low, barely at treetop level, but in clouds. So it was not a clear weather. The witnesses said there were clouds. In Akan, we say, na ebo esi. So the cloud base was low, which probably forced the pilot to descend and see whether it can find its way around. And in the process, it happened to be in a hilly area where it crashed into one of the trees. So the weather could be a factor. The machine itself could have developed technical faults. Then, of course, could have been a human error. But of these three, weather, technical issues, and human error, there is no evidence to suggest, based on what is available now, to confirm that indeed it was factor A, factor B, or a combination of this or that caused the aircraft to come down. So I think it will augur well for all of us, for stability, for national security. To stop, spreading all manner of conspiracy theory until the air crash investigation has been completed.
I think we find ourselves where we are today because of the advent of social media. Information travels very fast, and it's also easy for people to put out whatever is in their heads, and it has become quite difficult to control. But in your with your expertise, when a situation has never really happened, like you mentioned, the number of flights that have crashed, but definitely claimed no life. In the circles of the military, if a situation of this nature happens, claiming the life of the minister of the sector, other cabinet ministers as well, other senior members of government, what do you think of immediately?
Well, I think the investigation will need evidence. So the crash site itself, in quotes, becomes a crime scene and must be secured. I hope that the locals, in their attempt to go and find out what is happening, have not tampered with any of the evidence. But I've seen on one platform where a regional national security person is saying that they have retrieved or carried away 8 bodies in sacks. I don't know the nature of the sacks, whether they are body bags, which normally, medically would be the way to transport such bodies. I'm not too sure. The person says sacks. So even retrieving the bodies could, disturb some of the evidence. So security of the area to stop people from going to mess around, especially the aircraft and its immediate surroundings. For some parts, assuming could have fallen off the aircraft or when it crashed into the tree. Some parts of the aircraft could have been blown or flown certain distances. The security of the site is very, very critical. I've heard that the technical team from the Ghana Air Force in Accra is already on its way. We have heard that National Fire Service from Obuasi quite some time back had also deployed some fire personnel whose duties, among others, will be to secure the area. Of course, retrieving the bodies is all part of the training that National Service personnel have. And then wait for the the technical team for the air crash site investigation to arrive. And then the technical investigations would begin. I know that we're in the age of social media, but it is irresponsible. I've tried to explain possibilities, but I cannot claim at this stage, for instance, that the aircraft crashed, the helicopter crashed, because yesterday somebody went and tampered with it. There's no evidence to suggest that. But I've seen social media where, as I'm saying, somebody says, lock up, the technical or the engineers who maintain the aircraft. We've not even seen the logbook. There's a logbook on the aircraft. There's also another document where you document the maintenance that you have performed on the aircraft. All of these are sources of information. Granted that, okay, we've not had too many air accidents. As I said, one was 2007, then 2021. I've heard somebody refer to Atiwa and so on. I think some years ago, during the tenure of the incumbent president, if I'm not mistaken, he was being flown in a helicopter by a female pilot, the first female helicopter pilot from a visit around Kintampo. They went into bad weather. The president himself has been on air, praising the squadron leader, thanking God for, saving them. So as for air accidents, they can happen. But the circumstances under which they have happened, personally, is what disturbs me a bit. That innocent lives going about their national duties. And of course, on this note, I wish to mention, had galamsey not been an issue, for instance, this mission would not have been necessary. So this is one of the unintended consequences of galamsey, that they were going to, do some inquiries about the state of galamsey around that area or whatever it is. And then tragically, they have lost their lives. I'm told, and I have no reason to doubt it, that indeed the president was scheduled to travel on this helicopter.
Yes.
Yeah, but he had other schedules which weighed together, decided him and his staff that, okay, don't go on this flight so that you'll be able to attend to this or that other events. Imagine if the president had been on the flight and who had lost the head of state. That would have been more serious. It's not that his life is more important than, before the eyes of God, more important than the lives of the 8 who have perished. But politically speaking, having to go for a new presidential election, given that he's done only 6 months, and therefore the constitutional provision that his deputy must serve, the remaining 2 or so years, that's not right. In this case, at least we have one by-election for Tamale. Is it Central or wherever that my good friend Murtala, Honorable
Tamale Central.
But having said that, I have not even met Honorable Murtala before. But I don't know any of the person. The only person I have met recently, about 2-3 weeks ago, was the Honorable Minister of Defense. But seeing the work that all of them, collectively with the other ministers, have been doing, some onerous duties, I would say he was doing a good job, all of them actually. So for them to have realized some of their objectives for their lives to be taken away, it's quite tragic. Nobody ever dreamed that we'll wake up this morning to hear this kind of story. When the investigation report comes out, then we can have, constructive debate. But for now, I advise that nobody must start peddling conspiracy theories. And I'm saying this because a colleague that I work with at the African Union, who is not Ghanaian, who is now in Kenya, and sent me material alleging conspiracy. Another Ghanaian, senior academic who is out of the country at this time, has also shared 2 or 3 materials alleging conspiracy. So I believe there are many more conspiracy theories that are parading around, which I think is must not be the way that we go. When the report comes out, as I'm saying, and we know for a fact what caused the aircraft to come down, then we can have.
You may want to analyze with your security expertise. You may analyze materials that have been sent to you, and you may also advise that it's too early days yet, so it's early days yet for us to be drawing conclusions and all. But with the materials you received, with your own analysis, what would you say to those materials? Do you think they are inconsequential?
Oh, they are highly inconsequential, unless, of course, the sources of those materials are privy to information that you and I don't have. I.e., they know for a fact that at the Ghana Air Force Station, somebody tampered with a helicopter with prior knowledge that the president was going to travel on it, and by extension, therefore, it was an attempt to eliminate the president. Is one of those arguments conspiracies flying around, social media for political motivations and so on. Some personal scores, this and that and that and that. Now, technically, as you and me, we don't have the resources to go into what we call the metadata.
Yeah.
To investigate how these stories originated. National security has got those resources. So I believe that national security would use the resources that they have to try and identify the sources of some of these conspiracy theories. And if need be, to try and prevent the spread, of such stories. But the conspiracy theories themselves under these circumstances, if somebody alleges political motivations, then they are showing, they are deepening the tensions between the MPP and the NDC. So if it is not true, then I doubt whether anybody for political reasons would want to eliminate the president under such circumstances. Then invariably, you are causing national insecurity. Say, showing divisions in Ghanaian society along political lines, or if you like, for some other reasons, because a minister has been harsh or this or that. We don't know all of these. national security is already rolling out, I'm assuming, is already spreading its tentacles wide, including with its partners, external partners, to see whether there is any intelligence that might lead to, some ulterior motives for the air crash. It's going to be quite extensive. Where did the crew stay last night? When did they go to bed? This and that. Were they somewhere that they should not have been? This or that or that. If I have not mentioned, there's a logbook on the aircraft which logs, the time that it flies, where it went to, some of the conditions or technical issues that the maintenance of the aircraft is also another schedule which is maintained by the Air Force. So if it's got a history of issues, all of them will be documented. All we know is that the Z9 or the Zulu 9 or old school Z9 were acquired about 10 years ago for Ghana gas duties, but operated by the Ghana Air Force. That was 2015, I think. And all aircraft have got issues. So Air India, Boeing, whatever, crashes. We should not jump to conclusion that because the aircraft is Chinese made, therefore Chinese equipment are not good. Because all manner of aircraft crash, whether they are Western made or Eastern made or Northern made, Southern made. We need to wait, I'm emphasizing, we need to wait for the aircraft investigation report. Sorry, air crash investigation report.
But how do you know how old this aircraft was before it was purchased?
That's what I've said.
10 years ago.
I'm assuming that they were acquired brand new. So not only one. I don't know the number.
You're assuming.
No. This for a fact. I wouldn't mention his name, but I've spoken with a former chief of air staff. The Zulu 9 or Z9 helicopters originating from China were acquired 10 years ago, 2015, thereabout, by the incumbent president, was commissioned actually, but they were acquired for Ghana gas duties operated by the Ghana Air Force. Now, a 10-year-old helicopter, if well maintained, is not an old vehicle. Because when a helicopter flies, I don't know, let's say for about 8 hours, it needs to come down for maintenance. So the maintenance of helicopters, is very, very rigorous. Therefore, until we know what caused the aircraft, if it was the weather, for instance, and many aircraft accidents happen because of bad weather or poor weather. Now, I've mentioned the helicopter in which our first female helicopter pilot was flying this very president from Kintampo, wherever, or from somewhere around Kintampo. They went into bad weather and so on. And the lady had to manage and force land the plane. So let's wait. I know as human beings, we are eager to, have the information. And if the information is not available, then we start peddling our opinions as facts. That is dangerous. But if you, like me, you watch DSTV a bit and you have channel 171, crime and investigation, for instance, maybe channel 181 and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Or CNN. The CNN expert on air crashes or air travel and so on will always tell you that there are 3 factors. The weather is one. If it's not the weather, it could be a technical issue with the plane, or it could be human error. And human beings make mistakes. It could be a combination of these 3. But in all instances, The investigation team needs to get on the ground and examine the evidence, including the aircraft which is lying down now on its belly or on its side. In order to examine the pieces of evidence and based on the expertise, come to the conclusion. In fact, the Chinese manufacturers might even be interested in knowing what caused the aircraft to come down. It's possible that they have already left Beijing, flying to Ghana based on the diplomatic protocols. Some other partners like the US and so on might also be interested because they all learn from such accidents. So they might have offered to the Ghana government their support to investigate. And if the Ghana government accepts the invitation, their teams would already be on their way to Accra and then to the crash site, to assist in the investigations.
You earlier on mentioned that the reports of the bodies, the child bodies that were carried to the morgue, you were wondering if they used body bags which were medically applicable. When in situations like these within the military, is it not the military that must take primary charge of every movement from a scene of this nature that affects its men? And I'm sure that the military obviously has the discipline to know the right things to do.
The military could do that. But it's not military soldiers like me, the infantry, who will go with their bare arms to take the bodies. This is a medical situation. So we have the Ghana Ambulance Service. In the Ghana Armed Forces, we have that element of the ambulance service. So there will be an element in Kumasi. National fire services around the world are trained anywhere that there is such an accident, from fire, from building collapse, from earthquakes, floods, and so on. And already in the morning, I heard on one platform where one of the national fire officers from Accra was saying that the nearest station, National Fire Service station, is Obuasi. And that is about 1 hour from Obuasi to the crash site. And that, from the information that he had, their team had already left Obuasi for the crash site. So, if the systems are working properly and they are well resourced, unless, of course, the person who says sacks did not know the technical word for body bags. But the appropriate thing is to have these zipped, polythene, latex, whatever bag. Because they help to preserve, the body fluids and whatever it is. If you say sacks, my mind turns immediately to
some ordinary bags.
Juice sacks, or the plastic ones that we use for, whatever it is. Which, in fact, psychologically, it doesn't even sound well that, dead bodies are carried in sacks. So maybe it was a body bags. But see, in the absence of everything, you don't insist on, high standards. So if immediately all that is available are the sacks, then you improvise. So those who were there and had the authority would have improvised or might have improvised to recover the bodies, from the crash site to the morgue, whether it is Obuasi morgue or Kumasi morgue or whatever it is. I wouldn't blame them for doing that, because if you didn't do that, and we're in the rainy season, the whole night in Accra has been raining. We were told way back in June that July and August, we're going to have very cold, rainy weather, which has come true. Now, if the rain fell on these bodies, that was also not acceptable. Granted that the rains would have doused, the flames. Because I saw one video, as I said, but I don't even know who took it and why that person shared it. You have one body on the right, which didn't even have smoke. This was a video.
Yeah.
We had three other bodies, or two to the left of the shot, where the bodies were on fire. You see, so the scenes are quite tragic. But if we didn't have the resources to deploy ambulance service, Ghana Fire Service, Ghana Armed Forces ambulance elements with the requisite tools and resources, and if all that was available was a sack or were the sacks, then we say, okay, improvisation is also, part of situation management. All of this will be part of the investigation as to why the appropriate resources were not deployed in time, to recover the bodies per standard procedures, whether by the fire service or. But when the fire service left Obuasi, they were told there had been a crash, that the crash might have involved an explosion or fire, that there were bodies that were in flames or were aflame or this or that or that. So, by their training, when they are deploying to such situations or deploying in such situations, they take along with them certain, equipment and resources. Indeed, what I've seen on TV regarding the U.S. is that the fire service of the U.S. also has their own ambulance. They don't depend on what we call here the National Ambulance Service. The U.S. National Fire Service, whether by state or whatever, deploy with the tenders and then with their ambulances sometimes. So we can have this conversation going forward if we have enough ambulances. The 300, I know, I've seen one of the 300 some years ago sitting at a private workshop somewhere in Dansoman, waiting for spare parts. We brought in 300 plus, but after several years, given our culture of poor maintenance, you can question whether indeed we still have 300 on the road. Invariably, we don't have 300. So the investigations will look into all of these situational circumstances.
Colonel Festus Aboji, we'll leave it here. We're grateful for the input you've made. I'm sure we'll still keep in touch with you and then see what happens subsequently as we try to also get to the national security on some of the concerns you've raised. Thank you. Kenneth Festus Aboji retired there and, speaking to us or sharing the insight, what we obviously must do as a nation. He thinks that it's actually too early for people to be drawing conspiracy theories, as he terms it. There are no evidence and proof to it, so they shouldn't. Charging the national security to track, and stop all the spread of such information. Who is saying what? Because the factors varies. Yeah. Foul play cannot be taken out. I get where he's coming from because he's a military person. And they are too disciplined to entertain rumors and allegations. If you have proof presented, than just sitting somewhere and making noise. But I'm saying that persons who are writing those, they are not military people. They don't think along those lines. But it tells you the cracks within our political terrain in the country. It tells you the thinking line of our party politicking.
I mean, it's high time we educated the populace on what politics is and what politics is not. I am saying that because when you check with our kind of politics, once I am MPP, Annie is NDC, we have to be enemies. Regardless, whatever the issue is, we have to be enemies. But we keep forgetting that humanity comes first before political parties. I think we were here in this country where Ato Forcing had a rigorous debate with the current minority leader, Afenyo Markin. And the next moment, I think Ato Forcing's birthday, Afenyo Markin took him out. And then two of them went for, I think, lunch or breakfast. How beautiful can it ever get? That is what humanity is. We were sisters, we were brothers, we were family before politics came in. So pitching...
The foot soldiers who make politics look so dirty are not generating this in their bedrooms. They are generating it from the same leaders who are eating together and drinking together.
Well,
trust me on that one.
I mean, that is another side of the argument. I have no reason
to, if you're a leader and you are not able to put your people in check and you're not able to conscientize their minds, oh, it's not like this, don't do this. If you keep sending them to carry out dirty works, which they always do. I mean, we are in this job, we know, they always do. So and I'm careful not to mention or cite examples, but when they do that, then they come in front of the cameras and make it look like it's all okay.
Yeah.
But these foot soldiers do the things they do actually
with backing from
where their leaders benefit from. They have been sent. When Ablekuma North happened, you heard the security boys. What do you call them? They are not security boys. They are vigilante guys. You didn't see the videos.
But you see, even
they all were confessing. You see, and they were telling you what politicians actually sometimes ask them to do, which in any country they probably would have been arrested and questioned.
Yeah.
And then there's subsequent action to be taken will be which leader asked you to do this, and they will pick them up as well. But here we are in Ghana.
You see, and I think one of the conversations I want to have has to do with even national security. We always say, there were men from the national security closed up this office. Men from the national security seized this car. I think we have gotten to a point where we should have a proper identification for national security. Because see where Forestry Commission offices were closed down, and it is alleged that these close downs were from personnel from the national security. And then the next moment, someone comes up and said, we haven't sent anyone. And it is because people think whatever uniform, that brown long sleeve, brown boots, brown trousers, is easily accessible.
Yeah.
And that is what we say is national security uniform, want to describe as national security uniform. But you and I cannot get the Ghana Armed Forces uniform. We will not wear the Air Force uniform. So we should get a proper one for the national security so that we don't end up seeing a civilian carrying mallet or carrying clubs go do their thing and then they target national security.
So it has been a very extensive one on Good Afternoon Ghana, and that's because the nation is definitely a Black Wednesday. The nation is mourning with losing our two top ministers and also other senior officials of government and within the military as well. Metro TV will bring you some more subsequent videos from their offices, their homes, and the presidency as well, as our cameras are stationed everywhere. As we round up here, Johnny Fojon Kote is taking over. And then also at 7 p.m., the news team will come your way with some more details of the demise of the helicopter, of those who actually died within the helicopter crash. Shadraka, thank you for joining me. I was here with Desmond earlier on. My name is Ania Fompofo. We'll be back.
Back in the day, you tune in radio from morning, and you don't want to miss out because anybody who comes on is massive.
That's back in the day on Metro CC, Mr. BKD anyway.
Back in the day, mentioning the place that you used to live, no, that meant that you were Dadaba.
Oh, how?
Because we are the ones who went to Saito.
I wasn't really a nightclub person.
No, I mean,
the only times I went to the nightclub, Gov't Dixon took me.
Yeah.
You have a Walkman by your side. Now that was your selector. The Walkman was your selector. So when you play the first song and you want to change the song, you have to start cueing your next song through your headphone.
Hi, my name is Ivan Kwashigan. I'm the CEO of Farmhouse Productions. I'm a film director, producer. You are watching Back in the Days with Sammy B on Metro TV.
Massa, we a guy and yes, Sammy B a feature. This is Back in the Day. Keep watching.
Back in the Day is brought to you by Telecel Ghana.
Some loves are born in the blink of an eye, and they kill your soul in a flash. Televisa presents You Are the One. Angela dreams of keeping her promise to be a great doctor and help her people. To Alvaro, ambition is stronger than his dream, and this greed will lead him to commit the worst betrayal to the woman he loves, turning all her dreams into painful disappointments and dangerous consequences.
Llevo horas esperando que me contestes, Álvaro. No he sabido nada de ti, te mandé muchos mensajes y no me contestas.
Ya te saliste de la terminal.
Tal de pagarle y poderme salir de esto.
Con estas fotos vamos a vender muy, pero muy bien a nuestra minita de oro.
¿Estás novio? ¿Estás bien?